Thank you. Good morning everyone, welcome to today's vlog. It's my last full day here in Lisbon, so my third day, my third episode too. So if you missed out my first and second episodes, please check out the series. The link is popping up on your screen now, so you get a better idea of what I got up to on my first 2 days here in Lisbon, Portugal. As I mentioned, it's my last full day here, so I managed to gather some of the last few spots that I think would really add to an amazing Lisbon, Portugal experience. We're gonna go to the district of Belém, which is apparently really beautiful, and they have the best egg tarts there apparently. And we're going to check out a market tonight for some nice street food here in Lisbon, Portugal. And then I'll give out my final impressions or my final thoughts about Lisbon and why you should come here and things to look out for too. So let's start walking. It's going to be a long day of walking today, and we're going to burn a lot of calories, so we have some more space to eat later on today. But anyway, let's start walking and I'll bring you to our first place that you need to see. Our first stop of the day is a 15-20 minute walk right from city centre Lisbon down Avenida Liberdade, and I'm right here in Parque Eduardo VII. This is a huge 25-hectare park, and it's one of the most important landmarks here in Lisbon because they hold a lot of concerts, festivals, exhibitions and gatherings here. You'll see that there's a huge bus stop here for the hop-on hop-off bus and public buses, so it's a major thoroughfare here too. There's a huge flag of Portugal down the end there, so I'm going to show you that in a little bit. This was actually called Freedom Park before, and they changed the name to Parque Eduardo VII to commemorate King Edward VII's visit here in Lisbon, Portugal in 1903. This looks like a really cool chill out place. Everyone's coming here to do their jog, cycling, walking the dog. So let's take a look around and take a closer look at Parque Eduardo VII. So I've come all the way here to Palácio Fronteira, which I really wanted to show you their garden. It's absolutely beautiful and one of the must-sees here in Lisbon. However, out of all the times I come to Portugal, this is the only time where it's closed. It's closed for most of this month because of a private function, or they're filming something here. Because it's really beautiful, they're doing something really, really private and they're filming it here. So if you do come here, make sure you have a quick research to see if it's open, because you can't miss these gardens. They're absolutely beautiful. It's a little bit outside of Lisbon. Now I've got to rearrange my itinerary, find somewhere else to go. So I'll chat to you at our next destination. So I brought you to the neighborhood of Belém, which is just to the west of Lisbon city centre. And I brought you here because this place is packed with historical landmarks, and I brought you to the first place, which is right behind me, which is the Tower of Belém, or Belém Tower. Now unfortunately I can't bring you inside because, I don't know, it says it's closing at 5:30, but it's not even 5 yet and they're not letting people inside. There must be a maximum capacity. But this is a 4-story tower. It looks absolutely beautiful because it's set right on the coast of Belém. We're going to take a look at the outside. This was built in the height of the Portuguese Renaissance, and it was built in the 1500s. Let's have a look at its beauty. We're going to go around and have a look because we can't go inside, unfortunately. Let's take a closer look at the Tower of Belém. So we're still in Belém, and I've made it to Jerónimos Mosteiro, which is an absolutely beautiful building in Gothic architecture. This was built in the 1400s, and it looks absolutely stunning with the sun just glistening and the sunset. It looks so beautiful. It's a little bit late now, but inside this monastery there's a series of different museums, and I'm trying to see if there's anything open so I can show you guys more about its amazing architecture. But anyway, let's check out the monastery. So I've gone to 3 places now here in Belém, and I've worked up quite an appetite. I haven't really had much today. I found an excuse to have something calorific, which is another pastel de nata, and I've had a few of them in the last few days. You've seen that already. But that's not going to stop me, because I came to Belém for one main reason, which was to try their amazing pastel de nata, or they call it pastel de Belém here. And I went to the original shop, Pastéis de Belém, founded in 1837, so a really, really well-known recipe. And everyone's told me that the best egg tarts are from here, and I've got them right in my hand. I bought 2 boxes. If you just want one of them, it's just over €1, €1.15. And if you want a box which has 6 pieces inside, it's going to cost you just over €6. So a bargain for a little taste of Portugal right here. They're still really warm. I'm fascinated that they're still warm. I got another box to take home with me, so I hope it lasts until tomorrow because I'm going back home tomorrow. But anyway, let's bite into our calorific snack, Pastel de Belém. And I'm curious what all the fuss is all about because everyone's told me that they've got different ingredients here which makes these egg tarts a step above any other egg tart here in Lisbon. So if you are in Belém, make sure that you come and get these amazing special egg tarts. We're gonna bung one open and try it. Let's see what it tastes like. Here it is, what everyone's been raving about, the amazing Pastel de Belém from Belém. This is different from Pastel de Nata, which is from Lisbon. They might look the same, however, this is apparently the best in the entire Portugal for egg tarts, and egg tarts are a big thing here in Portugal, so when you do come to Portugal or Lisbon, make sure you try an egg tart because it's kind of like a national dessert here or something. I've had a few egg tarts the past couple of days and I can already tell that this is completely different. First of all, the shell. You can see the pastry. It's made in a completely different way. It's almost like a spring roll wrapper that's been filled with the egg tart inside. And even on top, it's a little bit different. They must be using a different sugar from everyone else, and I can already tell this is a really, really good quality egg tart, Pastel de Belém. Let's try it and see how good it actually is. I don't want to ruin it too much, but I know I'm going to be finishing this one after because it smells amazing. The smell actually, it smells a little bit different from the other egg tarts I've had. It smells a little bit more subtle, not as sweet, so let's bite in. These are messy to eat. I've got it all over my shirt now, I don't know what I'm going to do. But take a look at that. You can already see that the pastry is more flaky. The interior doesn't taste as eggy as other egg tarts. And then you have the sugar on top. I'm guessing it's sugar because that's what it tastes like. Wow. Now I know the difference. Now I don't want to go back to any other egg tart. I'm having this one. Super happy that I came to Belém just for the egg tart. And I'm happy that I came at a time that it wasn't so busy. I heard that sometimes you're waiting, the line is like down the whole Rua de Belém, the Belém street. And I was lucky that I literally only waited about 5-10 minutes because I came at dinner time when everyone's having dinner. That's one tip for you there. But anyway, let me finish my amazing Pastel de Belém. I'm not going back to the Pastel de Nata. Find our way back to Lisbon city centre. So it's time for dinner, and right behind me is Time Out Market Lisboa. It's also called Mercado de Ribeiro if I'm not mistaken, and I was kind of confused because on Google Maps they're right next to each other, so I'm not sure if it's 2 places in one or they changed the name or there's 2 different sections, but we'll have a closer look inside. And also you can get some nice street food and little bits and bobs inside here, so I can't wait to check that out and see what this Portuguese street food culture is all about. I love it how it's open until midnight. Apparently that's what Google said. Sometimes I don't trust Google. It's really fitting for the summertime because at summertime it gets dark really late, about 9, 10 or 11. So it's good to get that nice bite to eat in here. I've seen a few reviews that it's a bit of a tourist trap inside here because the prices are a lot higher than other markets around Lisbon, but I think that's because they've done a lot of renovations. So let's take a look inside and let's decide for ourselves, is it a tourist trap? Let's check out Time Out Market Lisboa. During time out, and we decided to get a couple of different types of sandwiches or burgers. What I just showed you was two very local style burgers where they use Madeira bread, which is a very traditional bread, in their kind of hamburgers or sandwiches. Because I'm here with a friend, so we got two different types of sandwiches and we decided to mix them up. So one has a cuttlefish and salmon patty, and the other one is a sirloin steak, because they love their meat here and they love their seafood here. These wedges look really, really different. I've never seen these types before, and they're not seasoned at all, which is interesting. So anyway, let's take a bite. I'm going to see what this tastes like, and I'll have a chat to you a little bit after, but it's super busy here. All I can feel here is that everyone's a tourist. I don't see any locals in this place. Yeah, I don't hear anyone speaking Portuguese, which is funny. So, tourist trap? Yes. So we're still here in the central part of Lisbon, and just on the edge of Barrio Alto is the pink street right behind me. Now this street was actually a red light district back in the day, but now it's come into life. There's so many restaurants, you can come here for a nice night out. As you can see right now, it's about 9 p.m. and there's not too many people, but later on it's going to be fully packed, and it's actually one of the places to be if you want to go for some drinks, some fun. Pink street looks pretty cool. I love the color. Transit now in Frankfurt. I've got a few more hours until my flight back home, so this is the best time for me to give you my final thoughts about Lisbon in Portugal. And if you are planning a trip to go to Lisbon, Portugal, do listen up, because I'm just giving you a few of my final tidbits on what I think is good about Lisbon and why you should go there. So let's start with the first one, accessibility. Well, there are metros, which is stops everywhere. The trams are beautiful. I wish I could go on one of the trams. And Uber is amazing too. It's pretty inexpensive, Uber in Lisbon, so I was really, really surprised about that. Also, even if you are stuck in traffic, it's a flat rate, so you don't need to worry about the taxi or the Uber price hiking up each time. I was stuck in traffic last night, which made me miss entry to one of the palaces, which I was really, really annoyed about because I wanted to show you guys that palace. Uber is always a great option. However, don't do it during rush hour. You guys know what time rush hours are. The trams look super pretty. They've even got little tuk-tuks around now, so I didn't really want to take one of those because for me, a tuk-tuk is in Bangkok. There's a lot of different ways to get around, but I chose foot most of the time to get around and see Lisbon, because I love just being able to walk around and experience people and the culture and the feel of the city. So highly, highly accessible around Lisbon. By the way, with my walking, I'm sorry I cheated yesterday. A few of the places I went to was closed, so I had to kind of take an Uber everywhere, so my count for steps was only about 10,000 yesterday, so it was really, really bad. But definitely we're going to try and hit that 30,000 mark in the future, so do keep in touch for that in the future, one of my future episodes. Number 2, the people are super nice and friendly. The people in the city center speak English very well. However, once you start venturing out of Lisbon, they do have a little bit of a language barrier or language gap, because as Portuguese they would prefer to speak other languages like Italian, Spanish, and French, which is the neighboring countries, which is completely fine. But as a tourist that only speaks English, yeah, I was kind of limited and had to kind of speak broken English sometimes when I was ordering things, because I loved going in these little local food places for my yummy pastries. Be mindful of that when it comes to the people, but generally the people are very nice and they'll try really hard to try and communicate with you, because that's their hospitality. They want to help you as much as possible. So Portuguese people, amazing, amazing, amazing. Number 3, it's relatively inexpensive in Lisbon. So if you are one of those people that are a little bit of a budget and a bit tight, you can always spend more of your money on a nice hotel and maybe not worry too much about food, because it's generally inexpensive around. Food and transport is pretty inexpensive, and even entrances to a lot of the touristy places, palaces, churches, etc. are very minimal. Not like in Spain where it's 20 euros to get into a church. Don't worry too much about that. So it's relatively inexpensive compared to its European neighbors. And that's what I like about Portugal, because it's such a beautiful city and they can hike up their prices as much as they want to, but they didn't. They decided to make sure everyone has a good time, experiences as much of Lisbon as they can, and not break their budget. So very, very good pointers for Lisbon in that respect. So I love that option. Next is security. You know, I told you in episode 1 that I was being warned about pickpockets, and as much as I'm always kind of wary of them, I didn't feel it so much in Lisbon. If you haven't watched my Barcelona travel vlog, I have 2 episodes there. There's a link popping up on your screen now, so make sure you check that out if that's part of your itinerary on this trip. But in Barcelona, all I felt was someone was always staring at me trying to steal something from me, and I didn't like that. And in Lisbon, I didn't feel that at all. Although the locals will tell you it happens, and I'm sure it does, but from my personal side, I didn't feel it at all while I was in Lisbon. The only thing I didn't like about security in Lisbon is when it starts hitting 5, 6, 7 p.m. Wherever you walk in the city center, there's people coming up to you trying to sell you illegal items, and for me it was just disgusting. People trying to sell you drugs, etc., etc. Literally every 5 minutes, wherever you walk, when you're waiting for the stoplight to cross the road, people are coming up to you whispering this and that, and then if you say no, or if you ignore them, they start to become really rude to you. And that is just completely disrespectful. First of all, do I look like a person that takes those kinds of things? What is your marketing? Like, who are you targeting? It seems like you're just going to anyone, even little old ladies, random people with children, parents with children. They're going up to them, asking them if they want to buy certain drugs, and I feel that to be completely disrespectful and disgusting, to be quite honest. I didn't really like that about walking around Lisbon at nighttime. So just be careful of that, and don't hesitate to be assertive and tell them no, tell them to go away if they keep on bothering you, because they will go away. There are police on nearly every corner in the city center of Lisbon, so you can always go up to them if they do keep on heckling you. So don't worry too much about that. I'm just giving you a heads up about it in case that happens to you in Lisbon. Lastly, will I go back again? Definitely. Lisbon is one of those cities where you only need about 3 to 4 days to see the entire city, and you can make your own itinerary to see as much as you can. I only chose select places that I personally felt like I wanted to go to, and you only need 3 days for that. And I was there for 4, because the 4th day I went out to Sintra, just a little bit out of Lisbon. So if you do want to spend some time a little bit out of Lisbon, make sure you set aside 4 days, and even 1 week if you want to go up to Porto or some other cities around Portugal, because Portugal is such a beautiful coastal country and there's so much beauty in its cliffs and beaches. So don't limit yourself to just Lisbon. Make sure that you add a couple of other cities to your Portugal itinerary. So I hope this helped you guys. I hope you were able to get as much as you can out of these 3 episodes that I made for you in Lisbon, Portugal. If you do have any questions, hit me up in the comments. Also, if you have been to Lisbon and would love to give us some tips on what we can do there, share it to the community so it can help everyone. Also, check out my channel if this is the first time you're watching my vlog. I've got so many other cities that I can give you some tips there too. So maybe I've been to a place where you didn't think about and it's along the way in your itinerary, so I'll be able to give you some quick tips on what you can do in that particular city. Do share this with a friend if they're also planning to go to Lisbon, and also don't forget to like this video. It's really going to help me out in my channel, and it'll really make me feel like you enjoy what you're seeing as much as I enjoy making these videos for you. So other than that, let's keep in touch on Instagram. Add me up, Tom Sylvester. I'm very active on Instagram and I do a lot of stories, especially if I'm going to a new country for the first time and I need some tips. I could be going to your city or country. So do reply to me on my IG stories to give me some tips on what I can do on my vlog. So it's really going to help everyone out when they go to your city. Once again, thank you for watching. Thank you for reaching this episode, the third episode in this Lisbon, Portugal series. I hope these episodes really helped you in deciding if you should go to Lisbon or not. But I do suggest you go there and eat those wonderful Pastéis de Belém and egg tarts because my stomach's full of them at the moment. So until next time, always take care. Thank you once again, and I will see you in the next vlog.